Academy of St. Martin's in the Fields, Toronto Symphony Orchestra, and who's probably on his instrument the greatest classical soloist there is. Not only that, but he also wrote and played the theme music for the Navy Lark. His name is Tommy Reilly, and he plays the harmonica. And if you think you can't play classical music on the harmonica, listen to Tommy Reilly playing this rondo by Händel. Lovely.
Hello, Paul.
Thank you.
May I sit down?
Yes, of course, you must sit down. It's wonderful.
Thank you very much
for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Now, that actually was one of the first, in fact, the first record of yours that I bought, the LP that you do that on. And
it's a good job you didn't say the only one.
No, I've got others now. But I must say I warmed to you before I'd even heard the record, because on the sleeve note you said why you started playing the harmonica. Why did you start playing the harmonica?
Well, it sounds a bit corny, but the fact I was studying the violin, somebody actually gave me a harmonica. And I never took very nicely to tuition, and so I taught myself. There wasn't anybody, and I learnt from Heifetz records. Couldn't have a better master, could you?
What did you do? You actually learned to play Heifetz violin solos?
No, I didn't. I listened to the way he played vibrato and trills, and I thought, this has really got something, which he has. I learned in later life that he really was great. And I learned a lot of my harmonica playing from him. I wouldn't say I tried to emulate him. Yeah.
You went actually to study the violin at Leipzig
Conservatory? Yes, I did. I studied there for some time. I remember my first lesson very well, where the man said, you know, son, he said, you could do with a bow half the length. I was scratching away at, and when I started playing with a full bar, I thought, my God, I'm sounding like somebody now.
But did you play the harmonica at all in Leipzig?
Yes, I did. I played the harmonica at that time. And nowadays, the fact I studied violin has been a tremendous help to me in the interpretation of classical music.
Yeah, but there can't have been a harmonica teacher at Leipzig, surely?
No. I taught myself. But I had played violin, and my father was a musician, so I had music in the family.
Well, what was the attitude of the sort of establishment type people that you would obviously be taught by there to that instrument? I mean, did they regard it as a toy?
Well, they did, and I think they, well, to a certain extent today, but I've never carried the torch for the harmonica. They either like the way I play or don't. But I have discovered that if the bigger the person is, the easier he accepts what you do. All he's interested, it's only a vehicle to me anyway, to express myself musically, nothing else.
And when you came, well, now while you were at Leipzig, something pretty vile happened to you. You were arrested by the Gestapo.
Yeah, sounds terrible, doesn't it? Yeah.
It still sounds as if you've done something wrong, doesn't it?
Well,
but why?
Well, I was a foreigner, you know, and there's people who didn't understand the totalitarian government, which was at that time in Germany. They didn't understand. If you were arrested, you tell people today, say, we must have done something. You didn't have to do anything in those days. It was like Al Capone running the...
You were an alien and therefore undesirable.
Exactly.
So, but you spent the entire war in various prisoner war camps?
I was in different camps for 5 years, 8 months. People say, oh, that's 5 years, 8 months out of your life. It isn't. It's 5 years, 8 months part of your life. I learned a lot in there.
Including learning something about the harmonica.
I learned a lot. I did play, as I said before, I played. I had conditions good, to put it mildly, but at least we had the time. And I learned a lot about the instrument. I had time to study the instrument, what made it work, and basic movements and everything.
But they wear out, don't they? How did you go on for supplies?
Well, I did a little bit of business with a German welfare officer who was a Canadian German, and I gave him a half a pound of coffee out of Canadian Red Cross parcel. And I'm not kidding, you could buy a hotel with that, Germany at that time. And he got harmonica, 24 chromatic harmonicas from the factory in Germany and gave them. They would have sent them to me, but with the political situation as it was at that time, they daren't send them to me. So he got them in his name and gave them to me.
But you became immensely famous in Germany, not only Germany, I mean Scandinavia, all over the continent.
Well, somebody made a lovely remark in Oslo yesterday. They said, you're world famous in Norway.
It's true, and you're well famous in Canada, too.
I play quite a lot in Canada now, but I was born there. And Canada's a very funny place in this way with artists. If you're not a Canadian, the doors are not open to you. I mean, I'm not telling any secrets out of school. This is a known fact. I was born there, so I played most of the symphony orchestras there, and I'm going back again to play.
But why is it, since you are so well known in these other countries, that in this country you actually fight for your anonymity? You use aliases on recording. I know this. Is it all right to say this on television?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Because if I sort of blow the whistle on your aliases, people will know that.
No,
you are Max Martin. You are Dwight Barker. Why?
Who told you all this?
It's known.
Well, I live in a village in England, and a lot of people say, oh, you'd have publicity here if you could. Oh, I don't know, perhaps I would. No, I don't think so. But I do most of my work abroad, and it suits me. I go around on my bicycle in French, and I'm not saying the people in French know who I am, you know, and I'm treated as one of the lunatics around the village, you know, as one of the characters. But I don't want people knocking on my door, and I want to be able to go out. Now, you see, I've done so many one-man shows in Oslo, in Norway. I mean, you'll know the feeling better than I do, but I literally cannot walk out on the street there. I can't go into a restaurant or cafe. They say, isn't that, what's his name, you know?
I mean, thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
You know what we're going to do now? Play.
You're going to play. I'll probably mess about and ruin everything you're going to do.
Well, I don't know, actually. We're going to have a go, aren't we, at a Stevie Wonder tune called I Just Called to Say I Love You. We're only doing it because it's recently been a hit, hasn't it, in this which you didn't even know that. It's been number one in England for some time.
The only reason we're playing it, you can play it and I can't.
I can play it, that's right. I think. Famous last words.